What is going on, Eagles faithful? We are just a month away from training camp, and the buzz around our squad is hitting a fever pitch. Everyone is talking about our championship-caliber defense, but the real mystery, the one that will define our entire season, is unfolding right in the trenches. Our offensive line is facing a major transition, and the success of our new scheme rests entirely on their shoulders. Are they ready to dominate, or is there a major cause for concern? I have all the latest updates on this crucial situation, so stick around. Make sure to subscribe to join our daily community. The offensive line in Philadelphia is entering a definitive period of transition as we look toward the 2026 season. With training camp just weeks away, the focus centers on how the unit navigates the change from longtime mentor Jeff Stoutland to new offensive line coach Chris Cooper. This group remains the primary foundation for the team's aspirations, serving as the essential link between being a legitimate Super Bowl contender and merely a team hoping for a post-season spot. The line features established talent with Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson anchoring the edges, while the interior is tasked with maintaining high-level physicality through Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and Tyler Steen. The success of this unit is paramount because they are essentially tasked with supporting an offense that is currently working to implement new schemes under Sean Mannion. As we watch this development, it is clear that the veteran core of this line is expected to provide stability during a time of significant tactical adjustment. The group's ability to remain healthy and cohesive will determine whether the offense can find the necessary rhythm to complement a defense that many expect to carry the heavy load. With the departure of key playmakers and the tactical shift in the passing attack, the offensive line stands as the most critical group for the upcoming year. Every snap will be analyzed for how well they protect the pocket and create space for the running game. As the team prepares for the upcoming training camp, the transition period for this line is the single most important factor for the offense as they look to build on the team's historical defensive strength while adapting to a brand new offensive philosophy and leadership. This shift in leadership under Chris Cooper brings immediate attention to the roster depth, particularly with players like Fred Johnson, Drew Kendall, and rookie Markel Bell. These individuals are now at the center of the conversation regarding the team's insurance policy against injury attrition. It is clear that the front office is counting on these specific players to step up, as the team cannot afford the same level of roster instability that plagued them in previous campaigns. Why does this matter right now for the Eagles? It matters because the offense is moving away from a stagnant approach to a new system designed by Sean Mannion, and the line must act as the anchor for these concepts to take root. Without a proven elite receiver following the departure of A.J. Brown, the team is banking on a collective effort from Mekhi Lemon, Dontavion Wicks, and Hollywood Brown to keep defenses honest. If the offensive line fails to provide the necessary time for these new concepts, the entire strategy could falter. The reliance on the line is magnified by the current uncertainty surrounding the backfield. If Barkley cannot regain the form he displayed during the 2024 Super Bowl winning run, the pressure on the offensive line to create lanes in the running game increases exponentially. We are looking at a scenario where the margin for error is razor thin. The coaching staff is clearly prioritizing chemistry and durability as the primary pillars for 2026. Fly, Eagles, fly. The fans are watching closely to see if Cooper can maintain the standards set by his predecessor, as this offensive front is essentially the engine that will either sustain a championship-level campaign or force the team to rely exclusively on their defensive unit. The development of the running game remains a major focal point for the 2026 season, specifically concerning the performance of Barkley. The narrative surrounding his trajectory suggests he is entering his age 29 season, coming off an immense workload during the 2024 championship campaign. The concern is whether the heavy usage he endured has resulted in a loss of explosiveness that he simply cannot recover. This is a critical factor because the current offensive strategy appears to favor efficiency over high-octane production. If Barkley provides less than half the effectiveness he displayed in 2024, the offensive line will be forced to shoulder an even greater burden to sustain long, methodical drives. This situation is the direct result of the team's current roster construction, which features a transition in the passing game and a reliance on younger, unproven receivers like Mekhi Lemon. The coaching staff is clearly trying to find a balance, but the reality is that the offense is currently built on the premise that the line will win the battle at the point of attack every single Sunday. If the line can successfully create lanes for the run and buy extra time for Sean Mannion's concepts to develop, the team remains in the mix for the title. However, the drop-off in production from the running game is a variable that is currently complicating the team's offensive identity. The reliance on individual pieces is evident as the team moves away from the previous regime's methodologies. As we approach training camp, the effectiveness of Barkley will be the ultimate litmus test for whether the offense can achieve the consistency needed to support a championship-caliber defense and sustain success throughout the entirety of the long, demanding NFL season. The strategy of replacing a top-tier playmaker like A.J. Brown with a combination of Mekhi Lemon, Dontavion Wicks, and Hollywood Brown is a clear indicator of the team's current philosophy. The organization is betting on a moneyball approach, trusting that a shift in X's and O's can compensate for the loss of elite-level talent. This puts an immense amount of pressure on Sean Mannion to extract maximum efficiency from a group that lacks a single, clear-cut number one target. It is a high-stakes gamble that requires the offensive line to be near-perfect in their execution. If the passing game remains pedestrian, it will be up to the line to ensure the ball is moved through volume and consistency rather than explosive plays. The integration of these new receivers into the rotation is a process that will be heavily scrutinized throughout the coming months. If this strategy clicks, the Eagles could indeed be a formidable force, but if the new wideouts struggle to separate against secondary units, the burden on the line will be even greater. The transition in the coaching staff from Jeff Stoutland to Chris Cooper adds another layer of complexity to this already fluid situation. Cooper is tasked with inheriting an enormous amount of talent and molding it into a cohesive unit that can navigate these offensive changes. The expectations remain high, as the goal is to maximize the output of a veteran core that is fighting against the natural decline associated with age. This is the core conflict for the 2026 season. Can an offense with limited passing explosiveness and a potentially aging backfield rely on a reshaped offensive line to do the heavy lifting? The answer will dictate the team's standing. Ultimately, the identity of the 2026 Eagles will be forged in the trenches during the upcoming training camp. The transition to the new offensive scheme under Sean Mannion, combined with a leadership change on the line, has created an environment where execution is valued above all else. The players understand that their role is to facilitate success for the rest of the team, whether that means keeping Jalen Hurts clean or grinding out first downs in short yardage situations. The presence of veterans like Mailata and Johnson gives the team a solid pedigree, but the production of the interior group, Dickerson, Juergens, and Steen, will likely decide the outcome of several key contests. As the countdown to training camp continues, the focus remains on the durability and chemistry of these five starters. Any injury to this group would immediately expose the lack of depth, forcing younger players to rise to the occasion before they are potentially ready. The defense is expected to play at a high level, providing the team with a strong foundation, but the offense must do its part to avoid leaving them on the field for too long. If the line succeeds in protecting the quarterback and opening running lanes, the team will have a realistic path to success. If they struggle, the burden will fall squarely on the defense to keep the scores low enough for the offense to remain competitive. This is the reality of the 2026 season for Philadelphia. It is a team with a clear plan, high expectations, and a singular focus on rebuilding their offensive success through hard work and tactical evolution. Fans looking for the latest updates on this transition and the team's path toward the new season should subscribe and follow along as we track these developments closely throughout the year.